All right, here are the properties of circles. So first of all, you cut out the circle that was given to you, and it should look like this, okay? So you cut on the dotted, then you can fold it on the solid line. So you're gonna fold here, and then you're gonna fold here, okay? And then on the outside here, you're gonna write properties of circles. Okay. So this is just going to be a little intro. Most of this should be review. So from properties of circles, the first thing I want you to make sure you know is the formula for circumference of a circle. Remember, circumference is going around the edge of a circle. So you got two formulas you can use. You can get C is equal to pi times D, which is the diameter, or you can have C is equal to pi 2 pi times the radius. Both of these formulas will be on your formula sheet, so you don't have to memorize them. Next, I want you to know the formula for area of a circle. And the formula for area of a circle is area is equal to pi r squared. Remember, that's different than multiplying 2 times pi times r. This is actually raising r to the second power. Okay? So if you have different color highlighters, that would be helpful so we can label the parts on the inside of a circle. So these two you should be very familiar with. The radius, I'm going to go ahead and just highlight that. It's this line here. And the radius is just half the distance across the circle. So it's half the distance across the circle. Okay. The next piece of information I want you to make sure you know is the diameter. So we get a different color. And this whole line is the diameter. Okay. And that basically is the distance across the circle. So the diameter is the distance across the circle. Okay. Then we have some words you might know, you might not have heard of. One being a chord. So here's a chord. And the chord of a circle is the line segment whose endpoints are any 2 points on the circle. So a chord is a line segment whose endpoints are any 2 points on the circle. So for example, here and here, the endpoints of the yellow line are on the edge of the circle. Okay. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is an arc. So here's an arc. And for example, we're going to mark the arc here. And so an arc is a portion of the edge of a circle defined by two endpoints. And then the symbol for an arc looks like an arc, and it will be placed over two letters or three letters. So later on, in a couple of lessons, we will talk about major arcs and minor arcs in semicircles. Okay? So that's all of this, and then we can put this, glue this down in our notebooks. And next, I want to do some practice problems with circumference and area. All right, so the first problem wants us to find the circumference and area of this circle. So first we're going to use the formulas that we wrote on here for circumference and area, or you can find them on your formula sheet. So in order to find circumference, I'm going to say circumference equals pi times diameter. Now in this case, I was given a radius, so the diameter has to be twice the radius, so the diameter would be 24. And so we can do C is equal to pi times 24. And then once we get that, we can just put that in the calculator. And you can use the pi button on the calculator, which will be second and over the caret symbol, and that's the pi symbol. So then we're just going to type in pi times 24. And then we should get about 75.4. And that's about 75.4 meters. And now we're going to find area. Area of this circle, you're going to use the formula pi. Area equals pi r squared. And we already know the radius is 12, so we're going to do area equals pi times the radius of 12, and then we want to square it. All right, so 12 squared means 12 times 12, which is 144. So we get area equals pi times 144. And so then when we multiply those together, you should get about 452.4. And now area, the units will be meters squared. All right, so you try number 2, making sure you're careful that number 2 is giving you a diameter and not a radius. So pause the video, work out number 2, and then come back to the answer. So the circumference for number 2 should be 56.5 inches, and the area is 254.5 inches squared. Okay. Now we're going to use the area and circumference formula to find the radius or diameter. So basically we're going to be working backwards. So for number 3, we want to find the diameter of a circle with a circumference of 65.97 meters. So because they gave us a circumference, we're going to work backwards using the circumference formula. So circumference equals pi d, and we're going to look for the diameter. So now we're going to plug in the circumference, 65.97 equals pi times d. And because pi is a number, we're just going to divide by pi. And so when we do 65.97 divided by pi, we get roughly 21 meters is equal to the diameter. In number 4, we want to find the radius of a circle with an area of 380.13 square inches. So because they gave us the area, we're going to use an area formula. So we get area equals pi r squared. So we know the area is 380.13, and we have pi r squared. Now the r squared, they have to stay together for now. We're going to divide by pi. And so now 380.13 divided by pi gives us roughly 121 is equal to r squared. Now we want to know what the radius is, not what the radius squared is. So in order to figure that out, we're going to take the square root of both sides. And so now we get 11 is the radius. Okay. All right, so that's it for the notes. I want you to go ahead and glue these down. You put the circle on top in your notebook, and you can close it up like this, and then you can glue this one underneath. Then there is a question that you need to answer on Google Docs to answer this, to show that you have done the notes. Thank you.